Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowen.
That will be the end of the ball game. 62-21.
It ain't all it seems. The way we used to be, even in your dreams. Looking back, we seeing what we want to see. The way we used to be.
And we welcome you to the Saturday Sports Line here on February 21st. I almost said January. February 21st, 2026. 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, wherever you are. Good morning. This is your wake-up call. I have with us our sports analyst, Chris McGowen. Last night, the Tigers had a tough one against the Cavs, Chris.
Yeah, too many turnovers. That would be the word of the day for the Tigers. Every time I think somebody says the word turnover, I think somebody ought to scream. That was not very pretty, but hey, give Culver credit. They came out, they played hard, and they had you could tell they had a chip on their shoulder after that double overtime loss to North Judson.
Yeah, it was a big win for the Cavs last night. That's where we were in the historic Tiger Den. This coming Tuesday, we will see the Knox Redskins in action. I believe that's senior night. They are hosting the West Central Trojans. And, man, the Knox Redskins had a big win last night against Wheeler. And, you talk about well, hold on. I got to pull that up. But the Knox Redskins were leading Wheeler when we saw them last. I'm pulling the score up right now. I was looking at the wrong Knox Redskins. But they did win 54-47 last night. That's a big win for Wheeler. They've been trading some losses. They beat John Glenn like we talked about last week on the 13th. That was a big win and been a long time since they won them back-to-back years. A tough loss at Plymouth. You heard that on Max 98.3 this past week, 63-46. But they turned things around, and they beat Wheeler 54-47. So they're putting some things together here late in the season, Chris.
Yeah, starting to, again, it's a young basketball team that had a late start because of the success of the football team. So, again, it takes some time. And when you got to pile all these games in with the weather and the late start to the season and all that, it's hard to find your rhythm when you're playing games all the time. Usually, that's what practice is for. So, again, they're playing their best basketball at the right time of the season.
The North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays beat Argus last night, big time, 60-38. The Winamac Warriors, they also won last night against Pioneer, 56-21. The Oregon Davis Bobcats on senior night last night took a tough loss to Casson at home, 79-57. The Bobcats end their season on the 27th against St. Thomas More. We have an opportunity to talk Winamac wrestling with head coach Kullen Day. He's down in Indianapolis as Tearson Wolford was our lone area wrestler that made it down to Indianapolis, and we'll go ahead and bring Coach Day on the line. Here he is. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing fantastic. It was very exciting to see the posts on social media yesterday and throughout the week. Exciting for Tearson Wolford. Talk us through yesterday and what that was like getting to Indianapolis. And you were there last year. We talked about it with you, with your wrestler before. So let's talk about this year and how things went.
Well, first of all, for a school our size, and there's a lot of schools around us that are kind of small, getting to state is almost like winning state. And I hate to say that. You comparing, schools of 300 to schools of 2,000. And so getting there, I think people don't realize it's almost like a mile and miracle kind of in a way. But Tearson, his mental approach all year has been solid and patient. And I think I've used the word patient a couple different times, but he just wrestles with he wrestles like he's 25. He's wrestled a long time. His poise is great. And it's been, I was actually a fifth grade teacher, and so I've known him for a long time. And it's nice to see he's grown into that. And he'll be back here next year, and he'll be placed next year. He's advanced every year he's wrestled. He's gotten farther and farther. And he took a tough one last night. He had a senior from Princeton. And it's probably one of the tallest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. He's probably 6'6". he was huge. And it wasn't a great matchup. Tearson was down 5-0 at the first period. After the first period, in the second period, he went down, got a reversal. He had a few moments he could have turned him, but just a tough matchup. And we're just super proud of what he's done this year. And I could tell when he has a fire in his eye. And last night it was forged for next year. And so he'll be back here next year and to do some placing. But state, there's a lot of hoops and a lot of things, and we spent most of the day. We did the walkthrough in the morning to school, and we got to the elementary, and that was super nice for him to have that send off. And then you got to go through check in and this and that, and there's a lot of different things before you even wrestle. And he wrestled maybe close to 4:30 or close to 5 even, but you're down there and there's lots of process. And he wasn't overwhelmed. It's like when you go on the mat. First time down at the field house, and you could tell he could tell that he was not overly hyped. He wasn't like intimidated or anything. But we're super proud of him. Everybody is from our community.
Well, I know it's exciting to get down to Indianapolis, and sometimes we've talked about it before. It can kind of be a little overwhelming at times. But talk about the energy and what it was like. We saw the video of him walking in with all the other wrestlers in the state. That's quite the fanfare. Yeah,
it's nice to represent our school and our high school and athletic department down there. And it's nice it's nice to be on the floor like that. The Parade of Champions is one of the nicer things they do down there. It's just nice to hear your school. And Tearson, he comes with a very large cheering section. He's got a great family that support him. They're probably 30 plus in the stands. So we go large and we go places with our cheering section. But it was just nice to have that that compliment from everybody, and just a nice feeling to be on the floor like that.
Yeah, and remind us his weight class.
215. Apparently, Winamac has a real magical 215 thing. I was talking to a local sport coach the other day, and he's like, "What is up with your 215s?" I'm like, "Well, that's how we grow them, I guess." It seems like.
Well, and then talk about who he went up against and how they're faring. Obviously, you're still down in Indianapolis. I assume you'll be going back to watch.
Yeah. So his guy, I think, probably is projected to from Indiana. Matt was projected to place third. So this guy's no slouch. He's just kind of a tough matchup because of his physical build. He's not super technical, but just strong and knows what he's doing. They haven't got to that weight class yet, but I assume he'll move on. I could see him moving on to that top 4. Actually, he's from Princeton, way down south. So we caught video of him and this and that, as we're doing our scouting, but there's no common opponents because he's down by the Ohio River, so that's pretty far away.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so now let's talk about the season. Let's rewind here and talk about how the season finished up for you, and who you have coming back and who's moving on.
Okay, so this has been actually a pretty good season. We started out with a full lineup, which is kind of always what I want to do every season. That's my personal coaching goal, because around here it's not always easy to get a full lineup, and there's a lot of schools that just can't do that with our numbers, but. We lose Hayden Taylor and Charles Cottrell. Those are our 2 lone seniors, and we're actually still pretty young. We bring back 4 juniors, Tearson, Wolford, Asher Jones, Ryan Shell, and Ivan Cardenas, and then the rest are sophomores or freshmen. And so I don't know, like I said before in an interview before, I don't know how, but every year I feel like we get younger and younger. It's kind of hard to explain, but we haven't had a big senior class for a really long time. So I don't know what's happening there, but I'm pretty excited because we finished 17-8 in our duels. We won the Super 8. We were second at John Glenn. We're second in our conference to that North Miami team. 4th at sectional, which isn't too bad, actually. In top 20 at semi-state, which again isn't too bad out of 55 or so. And so we bring back an experienced group, a hardworking group. I absolutely love working with these guys. They work hard in practice, and they listen really close, and there's a good group of guys. So it makes it easy for me to be a coach.
Yeah, definitely. And, when we were seeing on social media, of course, athletic director Brian Levers does a great job on X, formerly Twitter, keeping us up to speed on all the wrestlers. But, this was a good postseason for several of these wrestlers. I know Tearson made it to state, but you had guys that did well at sectionals, regionals, and even made it to East Chicago. So talk about this postseason run for your guys.
So one of my favorite things as a coach is when you see that improvement. And I know, in basketball you might see it from the next game you play if you see it in the tournament. But for me, we had so many guys like Broderick Reedaboo and Walker Lovely that they beat guys that beat them early in the season. And for me, that shows the progression. And that's really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them to improve from point A to point B, and they did outstanding. Justin Hausinger, two of our freshmen that were in the lineup, they grew so much from that, the first practices to the end. But they kept hammering, and I think their attitude is good. We preach kind of an approach where it doesn't really matter who it is. It's easy to look at jerseys, it's easy to look at history and past records and rankings because I tell the kids all the time the rankings are for us adults so we can have something to talk about, but they don't really mean much. Obviously Tearson beat many people that were ranked ahead of him in the state. I think he was ranked 30th, and he beat 3 or 4 guys that were in the 20s or teens. So that doesn't really matter. And they bought into it, and with every group that comes in, they fold right into our system of doing things and our approach. And so it's nice. These freshmen and sophomores come in, but they come out changed, and they come out like acting like upperclassmen. And so that mental approach with anything, any sport, is absolutely crucial. It's actually probably more important than what you do conditioning wise. If you condition your mind, you can do just about anything. And this sport is super mental.
Yeah, definitely. And you're paving the way for these future wrestlers. I'm sure being a head coach, you're already paying attention to the middle school and what eighth graders have done and how they're coming in. What's the freshman class looking like for your guys? Yeah,
and I think we have a pretty promising group coming in, 8th graders. Jake Armstrong does a great job in the middle school getting those guys ready. And so, our program is teaching the same things in all levels. My Warpath coach, Justin Jordan, he's also in middle school this year. And so we're kind of teaching the same thing. And so that's super important to our program. But I think the 8th graders will fold in, and maybe I'll talk to you about next year about those freshmen coming in and stepping up and doing the same thing. It's just, I tell them after a few weeks that I'm done referring to them as freshmen, and we're just one team. And so I kind of let them just, like I said, they fold right in, and they know what they're doing.
Talk about the overall what the chat you had with Tearson after. I know he was probably disappointed, but being a junior, I'm sure the first thing that came to mind is I want to get back here.
So I try not to be overly chatty with my wrestlers right after, because after you get beat, nobody wants someone in your ear. And so I give them about 30 seconds to feel sorry for themselves, and then we start talking to them. And Josh Andrews is down there with me, and I'll tell you what, I'm blessed to have a great coaching group. It's just 4 dads, it's just dads that, and when we treat these guys like our own boys. And he was, I think he felt more that he let us down. And we said, no, I said, you wrestled good. I told him before the match, leave it on the mat. Don't just be happy to be down here, but get after it. You belong here more than anybody else. You belong here. And he wrestled well, and that was the case. Like sometimes you wrestle your heart out and then you get beat. And that's what makes wrestling pretty unique. It's because it's an individual loss. You don't share the loss with the team as always. And so after about 4 or 5 minutes, he was smiling again, and he told us, he said, "I'm coming back here next year, and and it's gonna be different." I said, and I believe it. I believe it. He's that. And sometimes a hard loss will teach you more than a win. And so in this case, I think that was good. But as he thought through things, and we were in his ear a little bit afterwards, he realized that, and so he'll be fine. But and I said, work starts today, and he kind of smiled. He's like, "Can you give me a week?" I'm just kidding, of course.
Right.
It's a long season, and when I talk off season with these guys, they kind of give me a look. I'm like, yeah, just do what you can, and I understand. So, and my wife says, "Are we done with wrestling season?" Yeah, I said, "We're never done with wrestling season."
We're never done. And it was a good season for you as a whole,
yes.
Coach. I mean, you achieved your 100th career win as a coach, and that's quite a testament to the effort you're putting in as well. And I've always heard that the East Chicago meet, it has a good atmosphere as well. So those guys that got the chance to get to East Chicago at semi-state, they got a little taste in their mouth, and I'm sure they want to do what Tearson did.
Yeah, and Asher Jones, he's on the same progression plan. He last year had a real tough loss at regional. He was leading, and then it slipped away at the end, and it was good for him to turn the corner there. And I could see him down here at state. It's not easy to win. You got to win those two, and so it's not impossible if you work hard enough and get the right draw. That does help. I'll be honest. It does help to get the right draw on some of that. Ryan Schell at semi-state too. It was his first time there. I think maybe he might have been a little overwhelmed, but he wrestled well, and I think he has a chance too. And you never know. There's always that surprise. Every year I'm surprised by somebody. It seems like not so much on Tearson this year, but there's some that have come out of the blue. They get to state. They just have to. Everything comes together at that moment.
And you're heading back to check out the wrestling today. That's at Gamebridge, correct?
Yes. Yeah, but for a little bit probably. I got some duties at home I need to work on, so I won't be there the whole night. But just for a little bit, I suppose, and then I'll head north. So.
Well, Coach, it's always great to talk to you. I appreciate you. What would be something you'd like to say? Maybe you talked about the seniors, but if any of your wrestlers are listening to this, maybe in the replay or anything, what would your message be to them? Can you share with us on getting, to come back and get excited for next season? Because I know you'll be back raring to go as well.
Yep. So do something for wrestling every day, but don't burn yourself out, because we want to have well-rounded athletes. And when October rolls around and we start wrestling, be ready to go. We're going to have a great season. We're loading up. We got a lot of talent coming back. We got a lot of tradition in our program, and I'm expecting some big things next year.
You were in Indianapolis last year. How many times have you been able to get a wrestler to Indianapolis for Winamac?
So, me personally, this is my second one. Mm-hmm. So this is my 6th year coaching. So this is my second guy.
So it's not like it's a very rare occurrence.
Well, and then before that, I think Jake Armstrong, my middle school coach, was the last person to go. Mm-hmm. So I think we have. I think Indiana Matt. I think we had 27 wrestlers that have gone to state. I believe, and we have some state winners. So Chris Caston and Miles Nelson. So we have some tradition there. But I'll tell you what when you have a wrestler go this far, what it does is it kind of inspires the other wrestlers. I've seen an uptick on some more wrestlers that are like they're enrolled in some like a freshman, sophomore. They're thinking about off-season stuff, and so what it does, it unlocks the opportunity. Like, hey, he got there, why not? Why can't I?
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And obviously, one is you want more than that. I mean, we were ahead of Crown Point yesterday in line, and they had about 11 wrestlers make it to state. So and we just have like one, and you kind of feel like a hayseed coming down here. But and I just tell them all the time, you just got to take one match at a time, and things will take care of themselves. And I always tell them too, what I'm going to tell them in a couple of weeks in our awards night. It's the off season is where you really kind of build your foundation. What we do is we kind of polish things off and sand the edges off in practice. But what you do in the off season is important. Whether you lift weights, run, find some tournaments, come to our open mat stuff, and it's kind of what you put into it. You can't expect full-time results with part-time action. That's some sort of quote I heard somewhere else, but that's the point of it. And with our athletes too, we be in a small school like the area schools here. We share sports, and I want guys to play baseball and do track, or some guys, they work and in the spring, and so they're well-rounded kids. There are some kids that, this is their obsession, but we have some great kids at Winamac, and they're well-rounded and do other things too. And so that's just what we're about.
Well, Coach, congratulations on getting down to Indianapolis again, and I appreciate you taking the time while you're down in Indy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll stay in touch.
All right. Thank you for your coverage this year also.
Oh, absolutely. You take care, okay, Coach?
Thank you. You too.
That is head coach of the Winamac wrestling team, Kullen Day, here on the Saturday Sports Line, live from Indianapolis, the greatest city in the world. We're going to take a break and come back. We're going to stay with wrestling, talk to North Judson-San Blue Jay head coach. It's Danny McGowen up next.
Inside, nice find to McGowen. To the other McGowen, no good on the lob pass. Couldn't get a second chance. Rebounded by Zorich. Back out far corner. 3 by John Carr.
Out your name. You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. I speak a little louder. I'll even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out. I wanna be with you everywhere. I wanna be with you everywhere.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, agriculture has been a cornerstone of our business for more than 135 years. Our personal relationships within the ag community run deep for multiple generations. If you're looking for a financial partner that knows, understands, and supports agriculture, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Isaac Blue, Ag Banker at First Farmers. Come into our Knox, North Judson, or Culver branches, or visit us online at ffbt.com when you're ready to talk about growing your operation. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Stolen in the passing lane. It's Jonas McGowen. Here he comes. Quick 5 for the Cavs, and they lead here at the 7:05 mark in the first.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Line as we transition to another area wrestling team. It's the North Judson-San Blue Jays with head coach Danny McGowan, and we've got him in the house. Coach, it's great to have you here. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We haven't had a chance to talk about this team much. Of course, we had our Athlete of the Week, Jeremiah McKinney, last weekend. That was a great interview with him. And he made it all the way to semi-state. But I just wanted to talk about this whole team. You know, I know you've got freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and a couple of seniors you told us about. But just talk about this season as a whole and what you experienced. You know, making it to East Chicago from the other coaches we've talked about, that's quite the experience in itself. Yes,
it's a great ride. It was a great season this year. We had around 10 wrestlers available for weight classes. We had Axel Clemens. He was our 132 this year. He wrestled well. He's a great kid. He's one of my assistant coach's sons. Does a great job with what he does. He took more of a leadership role than compared to last year. Came out a little later than usual, but we were able to get him out. Did a great job with that. And then we had a newcomer, Dayton Zervos. He was up there in the weight class with around 190. He took some lumps this year. Wrestled hard, worked hard. Then we had Orrin Ball. Orrin Ball was our 132 pounder. Or no, I'm sorry, 138 pounder. He's my one. He's partnered up with Jeremiah a lot. Wrestled with 138. Wrestled hard. He's a guy that goes to up there in Plymouth in the club. Does a lot of wrestling year round. Loves wrestling. Really enjoys it. Great kid. one of our great leaders on the mat and off the mat as well. Helped Jeremiah come in as his season was longer, and worked with him and done a lot of things for him. That was great for him. Then we had our 152, which was Jeremiah. We'll talk about him here in a little bit, but our 150 was who was our 150?
You had a lot of guys.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but we had Jeremiah McKinney, our 150. Our 150. I'm struggling this morning.
No, you're fine.
You're right.
There's a lot of guys to keep track of because they're putting in the work and the time, and several of these guys you've seen them in the fall as well. You coach them, and they do a good job for you, especially when we've talked before how important staying in shape is if you're a football player. Wrestling's one of those sports, and Chris, you've talked about it before.
Right.
It's one of those sports that it goes hand in hand.
Hand in hand. Well, the hand battles, especially being an offensive and defensive lineman, the heavier weight classes, because you're constant with hand battle and all that. So yeah, it does tie well together. And Coach D here can speak from experience. He was a D lineman, but on offense he played fullback. But again, just one of those deals where it ties together well. All right, you got your list there, Coach?
Yep. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Balin Korniak, he was a newcomer. He wrestled 144. Beginning of the year, this is why I was confused a little bit. Beginning of the year, he was our 144 to 150 because Axel Clemens wrestled around the 144 spot, so they split time. We felt Balin could bump up to 150 and handle it. Balin did a really good job learning the moves, learning everything. He's a tough wrestler, trying to get his little brother out for middle school wrestling because I think he could be Easton. He could be really good with it. He's really strong. So hopefully Balin can work on that for me. But Balin's a great kid, works hard. So he wrestled 150 at the beginning of the year. Then he went down to 144 because Axel was normally a 38 pounder, but with Orrin locking that in, we basically tell the kids, you can either go if you're good enough to beat the guy in your weight class, then you own it, and or you can go up, or the real tough one is to go down because no one really likes to cut or really control and maintain. But Axel took on the challenge. We with the new state mandates, you got to be really careful with where you cut and how cut, all that kind of stuff. So it's really more structured than back in the day where you could be walking around 20 pounds heavier and then drop. No, but Axel did a really good job of maintaining it, getting to his weight where he needs to be. So he was able to wrestle stronger at the 32 spot. So then that allowed Balin to hold the 144 spot, so we didn't have the 150 spot sometimes, and then we had Jeremiah at the 157. Jeremiah had a great season this year, making it all the way to semi-state. He was our sectional champ at the 157 spot. Then we went to Penn. He wrestled. He got all the way up to was right there, seconds away from going for first or second. End up losing that match, so he was able to wrestle for third and fourth. Ended up taking the third spot at our Penn regional, and then he was able to make it to semi-state. And then we had Colton Kilgore. Colton Kilgore, he's a second-year guy. Plays football for us. He's a kid. He's a yes kid. Great kid.
Coaches love those guys.
Oh yeah, he'll do everything for you. His mat savviness, isn't there yet, but he tries to do everything you tell him to do, and sometimes do it at a fault because he'll be in the middle of a match, he'll not understand what you're saying, so he'll look up at you, almost pause, and then oh man, don't do that, stop doing that, just keep
wrestling. Yourself on his back then.
Yep. So he was our 165. 65 pounder. Then 175 was David Johnson. David Johnson, he plays outside linebacker for us for football. Really wanted him to come back out because he came out a little later than everybody else. because he wasn't sure if he was going to come out after football, but I was glad that he came out because I feel that it's going to really help him for his football season, because I know football is his number one sport, which a lot of these guys are. We only got a couple that focus on wrestling mainly, with Orrin and Jeremiah, but David does a great job. He's strong, wrestles hard, wrestles tough. I think it's going to benefit him in the long run. He's only a sophomore, so that's really good. Then another senior we have is Grayson McDaniel. Grayson had a short season. He got lost in sectionals, but he's a great kid. Came out hard. Was able to convince his brother to come on out. Cooper McDaniel. Grayson started at 190. Had a little weight fluctuation, so we ended up keeping it 215. Wrestled well there. His brother was a 215. Cooper, who was a freshman, going to be a freshman offensive lineman for us and defensive lineman for us next year, more than likely, if he's able to stay at the middle linebacker spot. But he does a really good job. Both of them, they were partners together. They weren't a normal, typical. They like to help each other out. They don't like to rip each other's heads off, so which is good. Not a typical McGowen household.
I was about to say.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow. We may have to take notes from the McDaniel brothers.
Yeah, but Grayson's a great kid. He's gonna do a lot of good things for us as he goes on. So he's a great kid. Cooper has a good future. He's weighing 215. For us, around 197. He wrestled 215, but 197, 200 pounds. So he's got a weight class to grow. That's where I like to keep the football players. I don't really want them to cut per se. If they're seniors, they can worry about going down if they want to. But I like to try to encourage, if they're underclassmen, to stay at a weight class that they feel comfortable in, so they can be able to bulk up or get stronger in the weight room, not really worry about trying to maintain or cut. So that's Cooper. We had Adam Allen for a little bit. Adam Allen broke his leg during football season. He would have been our true heavyweight this year, coming back after last year, but he ended up breaking his leg during football season. So that really limited him in the wrestling room. He was able to come up. So just with his limited availability. He wasn't able to wrestle this year, but he was able to come up, do some mat stuff, do some not so live sparring, but just finally got cleared, was able to do a little bit of mat stuff, but nothing too extreme. So that was a great group of guys.
Yeah.
And then our other senior, he was our 126 pounder, Tristan Minix. Tristan, this was a great season for Tristan. He really took ownership of this season compared to all the other seasons. He did a really good job wrestling, strong wrestler. He was a 126 pounder. Really, just by frame alone, he was an odd 126 because he was so tall but so thin that he was able to really the length really afforded him a lot of opportunities to do things. So 126 is a tough weight class. So, but he was able to do a lot of good things, and we're glad to have him on the mat.
Now, just sitting here thinking, Mama McGowan's probably standing in the kitchen listening to this, hoping, praying that we keep it civil, which we will.
You did last year.
We did last year. We were good. Okay, can you talk about the girls program, the girls side of it? How many girls did you guys have in the program this year? We had a handful of them. We had one lone senior this year, Jaden Coldiron. She's going to Indiana Tech for her wrestling program. Oh, nice. So
she just signed not too long ago with them. So she's really excited. She wrestled really, really well. We went to the Columbia City tournament, and she took the top three. She placed in the top 5, so that in her weight class. So that was really, really good. She a tough wrestler. She improved a lot from last year. She was able to. Last year she was winning her first match of sectionals, and then just got too excited because she was up there, and then ended up getting reversed and didn't have the season the way she ended up last year. But this year she came back stronger than ever. Really pushed the pace. better positioning. Coach Ben and Coach Josiah Clemens do a great job with the girls. I help out a little bit, but they're the mainstays in that program. And Coach Clemens and Coach Ben got her going. She wrestled tough, wrestled hard. She I think she got second in sectionals, and went on to her, because they have regional and then state. She went on to regional, won her first match, then lost her second. So she did a really, really good job for us. And then we have Phoenix. Phoenix is her sister, Honey. Phoenix and Honey Kirk, they're great. They work well with each other. They do a great job working with each other, pushing each other. So they're Phoenix is a first year. She's a freshman. Honey's a sophomore. They do a great job with each other, working hard. Honey has come up a few times. Phoenix was a dual sport athlete with cheerleading and wrestling. So she was going back and forth. When she was at a wrestling meet, then she would go to a basketball game afterwards to cheer. So she's learning. Like I said, she's a freshman. Honey, she's been coming up a couple of times with our middle school program, because we have a few girls. So she's been training with them, helping them out. She seems excited about next year, looking forward to next year. Honey Kirk is as well. And then Maddie Baxter, that's our softball coach's daughter. She came into her own this year. She was one that was very hesitant, wasn't very confident in herself last year. But this year, you could tell that her confidence grew and improved as the year went on. So she was really, really much stronger at from the beginning of the year to now. So we're excited about having them back with Honey, Phoenix, and Maddie.
And you have to say goodbye to some seniors.
Yes.
Go ahead and talk about them.
Yes, Tristan Minnick's. I feel that this is Tristan Minnick's best year of overall high school wrestling. He had a couple battles, with sickness, illness, all that kind of stuff through his younger seasons. But this year he was able to put it all together, wrestled tough. He's our 126 pounder. We're gonna miss him. He was our comedian. We loved having him around, made some jokes, but I'm not going to miss his backflips. I mean, that kid just wanted to. He finally landed his first on his feet backflip in the mat room just last week. So I walked in the gym the other day, and he was in there, and he said, "Coach, watch this. Look at this." So he was recording it, showed me. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. I can have a hard time getting off my back, let alone doing a backflip. So he's a great kid. Going to go out and do some good things. I'm really, really excited about seeing what the future has in store for him. Our other one is Grayson McDaniel. Grayson, he played football for us. He was all conference in football. He's a great wrestler. He did a lot of youth one-on-one club for Knox. Did a lot of wrestling throughout his younger years, but this year he came up a little shorter than what we were expecting compared to last year, because last year he was a regional qualifier. This year we were hoping for a little bit more, but just having Grayson around, he's a great kid, great guy to have. He's going to be missed just by his leadership alone. Just going to miss him tremendously. And our other senior was Jaden Coldiron. She was the backbone of the girls program. She wrestled in the boys season last year, and then it's our sophomore year. Last year was the start of the girls program, and then this year she was able to wrestle, and her record really showed that of all the hard work that she put into it. Working with Ben, working with Coach Clemens, and doing all that kind of stuff. So we're really excited for those three to do a lot of good things, and we're excited.
Yeah. Okay, before we let you go, talk about Josiah Clemens, your assistant coach or the head of the girls program. I think somebody that when I coached at Judson Wrestling was somebody that Josiah wasn't going to beat himself. He was a very technical, sound wrestler, and if you were going to beat him, you had to beat him. He wasn't going to make a mistake and let you beat him. Talk about having somebody like that with the experience in the program.
Yeah, I mean, we feel very happy with our coaches. Ben wrestled at LaPorte. He's very knowledgeable about the sport. Coach Clemens brings another element because he's got daughters at home, so he knows how to work with that clientele. Because
right.
I have nothing but boys, so. Just that exchange, but Coach Clemens, he's very technical, just like Coach Ben. I think Coach Ben has owned the mat room quite a bit. I feel that Coach Clemens is coming to his own. He's being more vocal. He seems like he's owning it even more and more each day. It's just great to see him maturing and Coach Ben maturing as coaches, doing so much. Great work with our youth program as well. Coach Clemens is our head middle school coach as well. We were fortunate enough to add another coach this year with Danny Manuel. He reached out, was wanting to join, so he's helping us with our middle school program with Coach Clemens. And we have that 4th and 5th grade wrestling program that we travel around with Culver, Triton, and John Glenn was in it, and then Knox. So we're trying to build up the wrestling program in our local area. Having Coach Clemens and him being a Blue Jay. His wife is an elementary principal, vice principal. So having them around and helping the program out is a tremendous asset. He does a great job with the kids. He works well with them. He is able to relate with them and be able to communicate and talk with them in a way that they can understand. Like Chris said, that he's very technical. He knows these things, but he's so technical, but he's able to keep it so simple that the kids are able to understand it and be able to be effective with it. So I'm really excited to have these guys, the continuity, continuous working with them. The only new one is Manuel. So we're excited to have that continuity with our coaching staff.
Coach, I sure do appreciate you coming in and talking about the entire team. And I know you're going to be getting ready for football here soon already.
Yeah.
It's not even springtime. You're already probably thinking about it, Coach.
Yep.
But
We're already full force.
I guarantee it. Coach, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. That is head coach of the North Judson-San Blue Jays wrestling team, Danny McGowen, here on the Saturday Sports Line. Taking a break, coming back. We're going to wrap West Central girls basketball season up with head coach Tyson Mellon up next. Trying to get it in. It's Daly. He does. Right to Osornio and lays it in. Nice play in the paint. 5-2.
Far, we've been traveling far. Without a home.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere.
Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox.
Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989.
Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student-athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Back to transition to West Central girls basketball with head coach Tyson Mellon, and we've got him on the line. Coach, I know it didn't end the way you and the girls wanted it to, but man, was this a great season overall. I'm glad you could take the time this morning and talk about this great run.
Yeah, thanks for having me today. It was a fun season for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The first sectional since 2014, and Chris and I were talking about it. You know, you're our only area girls team that made it out of sectionals. So, I mean, that's quite the impressive run. You had a lot of good girls on this team, a lot of highlights this season, quite frankly. Several winning streaks. You guys just played good basketball from start to finish.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good season. You know, we started out, lost to Morgan Township and lost to Winamac, and so some of those games early on tried to get us ready for our conference season. You know, we didn't have a lot of height inside, and historically that was one of the things we like to do is get a post touch and then work out of the post, and that just wasn't our personnel really this year. So over the summer and through the course of the year, we just kind of spread it out a little bit and worked a little bit more on driving and kicking and things like that. And the girls adjusted really well. Several, you know, we had to replace like almost 50% of our rebounding and scoring from last year, and the girls stepped up and just did a great job.
Yeah, you know, making that transition, you know, not having DeMoss there, the 6-footer in the post, you know, suffering the injury. You did a real good job of spreading the floor. I thought your girls, and they adapted well, and you could tell that they were having fun in that type of a situation, especially, you know, when you drive and kick, you hit that first 3-pointer, and then all of a sudden they just start. It's like a snowball going downhill, and it becomes a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, definitely. We had, you know, kids take on roles that didn't have a lot of varsity experience, like Emily Bunger stepped up and played real well this year. She wasn't necessarily a post player, but we had to get her in the paint. And, you know, Macie Allen hit 53s this year. That is the most, you know. Tori Culp had 67 one year, but so Macie ranks in the top 3 or 4. Sydney Mellon had, I think, 44 threes this year, so that was definitely our strategy.
And you talk about Bunger, she hit one of the biggest shots of the year.
Oh yeah,
in the sectional championship.
Exactly, offensive rebound. She's our leading rebounder this year, and that was you know, just a role player last year. I mean, all these girls were role players last year, and they just stepped up and had a great season.
Well, and you talk about that, and what's nice is you got pretty much all of them coming back, you know. So let's go ahead and kind of segue into, you know, all those girls are coming back. Let's talk about, you know, your seniors. I think you had there were 2 on the roster, and I know one's really special to you. Let's go ahead and give you the time to go ahead and talk about them, and then we'll talk about you know, the outlook for next year with what you have coming back. So let's go ahead and take the floor now and talk about the girls that you're saying goodbye to.
So first, Kayla Slater. Kayla started playing basketball her freshman year. Really good athlete, good cross-country runner, really good track runner. And, you know, she had a lot of learning to do, and she stayed with it. And great kid, great. She's in our youth group at church and is a great leader there, and sings the national anthem before games here at West Central, and actually got to sing at the state football finals for 1A, and just a great kid. And we're going to miss that leadership. You know, we talked at the end of the season. We met on Tuesday after the regional game, and the one thing that all the girls said was one of the best things, one of the best memories they had is just the team bond and great team chemistry. And Kayla was a big part of that. She's one of our FCA leaders and just a great kid. So we're gonna miss that. And then our other senior, Sydney Mellon. She's kind of special to me. Great kid. Played varsity 4 years. Role player the last 3 for sure, and had to change roles a little bit and be more of a leader for us. She's kind of quiet, but she works really hard. And you kind of watch film and you see all the little things that, like if there's 2 people boxing out, Sydney's one of them. Just those little things we're going to miss. Coaches take for granted. Teammates kind of take that for granted. We got killed in the regionals on rebounding and watching film. It's like, there's only 2 guys boxing out, and ECA crashed the board really hard, and it showed. Those fundamental things show up on film. So Sydney had a great year. She improved. She was top 3 in scoring, rebounding, assists, steals. She's was just one of those all-around players that we're going to miss.
I think one thing that I like that you have done over your time there at West Central is editing those highlights together and posting them on social media so that the families, so that the kids can go back and watch that. A lot of people don't understand the time that goes on behind the scenes as a head coach. Yes, they see you in the game and they see you working, but it's the practices, it's the time at home preparing. Right. There's a lot of effort that goes into this, Coach, and I just wanted to say I've noticed it because I always watch those highlights. We share them when we see them on social media. It takes some time.
It does. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys supporting us in that way. When you're trying to build something, you need those kind of things to get energy, to get support from the community and things like that. Because, when we started out, it wasn't good. We 4-18. We didn't win 18 games our first 3 years here, and this year we won 18. It's kind of crazy. So it takes a while. It takes parents being dedicated. It takes kids being dedicated in the off season and youth program. We got youth league going on right now. I got 6 games to ref today, and it's great. People are buying in. That's all you can ask for.
And again, it speaks volumes too. I'm just sitting here when you said you the first year 4-18. I was thinking back to the great team that I had my last year at Tri-Township. We were 21-2, but that freshman group, their freshman year, they were 4-18.
Yeah,
and again,
brutal.
It's just it's people have to buy in and trust the process and understand that what we're learning to win. It is a process. You go through the growing pains. You learn. You lose a lot of tight games. You win some tight games, but it's the growth and the maturation through that, and it allows you to have a season that you had this past year with the 18 wins. But now you look to next year. You're going to be healthy. Hopefully, knock on wood, coming into the season. And you've got a great nucleus coming back. And again, I'm going to get on my soapbox here. I don't think people understand how important chemistry is amongst a team and amongst a group of individuals that are trying to come together and accomplish a team goal. So, man, I'm excited for you. I hope you're excited. Talk about what you plan on the off season being like and how to take that next step.
Yeah, appreciate that. Team chemistry is huge, and this group of juniors, next year's seniors, there's 7 of them that have stayed with it the whole time, and they are a tight bunch, and it's fun to see. Now once you win, there's some expectations that come the next year, and that'll be interesting on how we handle that. We should have more of an inside-out game than we did this year. We still have some guys that can knock down threes. Madison has been able to practice with us the last 2 weeks, kind of go up and down. And it was funny how many shots she blocked in practice, that first time, because girls would, throughout the whole season, would just drive in and shoot like nothing. And in practice, and then Madison comes back and she has like 6 blocks, and I just started laughing. I said, "Welcome back, Maddie." It was crazy, but it's a good core group coming back. We're gonna keep shooting in the off season. We have breakfast club in the mornings, and when that limited contact starts, and usually that between your junior and senior year, time kind of gets away from you. They got summer classes. They're preparing for college. They've got every sport wants to do something in June, which we got to share athletes, which is totally understandable at a 1A school. But yeah, so we'll keep doing the same thing. We'll go to a team camp in June and spend some time together there, and maybe hit a shootout or two. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's the process, right? So you can't deviate too much. You gotta do the same thing over and over and over, and keep expecting the same results. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's going to be interesting to see how you and your girls handle, because now you will have the bullseye on your back.
Yeah.
You're the defending sectional champ, and so everybody's going to want to come out and play their best game against you. Exactly.
And we got to match that intensity every night. And, yeah, you take a piece of coal and you put it under pressure and it comes out a diamond. So that's kind of what we're hoping this year, this coming year. Take that pressure, embrace it, go after it. But you got to have that lion mentality. You got to be the hunter when the season rolls around. So
I don't want to single one player out, but we are talking to her here in the next hour. Our athlete of the week, Macie Allen. Just if you can talk about her and what she meant to this team.
Oh yeah, she's as far as vocal leader. I mean, she was it. She's the most positive person that you could ever be around. Some early on in her career when things didn't go her way, she maybe moped or pouted a little bit. But this year she's matured so much over the last couple of years. Man, can she shoot? Like I said, she hit 53s this year and was like 33% from 3-point line. One of her goals is to be able to drive now, because people are going to close out really hard. So we got to be able to drive, get 2 feet in the paint and either finish or kick out. So that's one of the things we'll work on this summer. But her attitude's been awesome. She's a great kid to be around. Her dad coaches baseball, so like they're a sports family. So just a great kid. Macie's awesome.
And I'm sure it's been fun to coach at your alma mater as well as win a sectional championship at your alma mater. But on top of that, to be able to coach your daughters, I know that's been fun as well.
Yeah, it's been special. We as a player never could win a sectional because some guys from North Judson always beat us.
Hey, I tell you what, with my senior year, we tried to give it to you. Heck,
I know.
You had us down 5 with 30 seconds to go. I mean, What else could we do?
Vesley hit that 3 right over Cody Hoker. It was over. Man, we missed a ton of free throws that second half. We choked.
I tell you what, the best part about that was the only fans in the stands that night with 30 seconds to go that wasn't doing the na hey goodbye were the Judson fans. They were all sitting on their hands going, what in the world's going on?
They stormed the floor.
Right.
Oh man, they stormed the floor. That's etched in my memory forever.
Sorry, Coach.
Well, I'm sure you'll
have just so you know, I still have that net at home.
I'm sure you do.
It's in my classroom.
He said that a couple weeks ago. He sent me a picture. He's like, just so you know, I wasn't joking.
I wasn't joking about all the nets I got that are in my classroom.
Man, you guys are stacked. It was awesome.
Well, and I know that you'll have a chance to talk with Harold Welter in the next hour as well for the Where the Now segment. So he'll, I'm sure, get you to reminisce a little bit about your playing days. So I sure do appreciate you hopping on here. It means a lot, Coach. Tough season to way to go out, but amazing overall to be a sectional champion. And congratulations to you and the Lady Trojans.
Hey, I appreciate everything you guys do for us here at West Central and the community schools, the surrounding schools. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks for covering us. It's been great.
Well, we couldn't do it without you either, Coach. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you. Have a good summer.
You as well. That is head coach of the West Central Lady Trojans, Tyson Mellon, here on the Saturday Sports Line. The Trojans go 18-7, sectional champions for the first time since 2014. We're going to take a break and come back. We're going to talk South Central basketball with head coach Doug Nelson, the Lady Satellites. We're going to wrap their season up next.
Drinking beer, listening to the radio. Hank Williams sings Elijah and Dear John. And time marches on. Time marches on.
Get fiber fast internet starting at just $30 per month with autopay and free professional installation during Surf Internet's Winter Lifetime Savings Event. Power your home with fast, reliable fiber internet and enjoy no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. And when you join during the Surf Winter Lifetime Savings Event, you lock in your low price for life. Visit surfinternet.com to get started. Restrictions apply. Not all speeds available in all areas.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowen on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
Now's the perfect time to get speed and savings you can count on during Surf Internet's Winter Lifetime Savings Event. Power your home with fast, reliable fiber internet that includes free professional installation, starting at just $30 per month with autopay. There are no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. Plus, during the Surf Winter Lifetime Savings Event, you can lock in your low price for life. Visit surfinternet.com today. Restrictions apply. Not all speeds available in all areas.
Frayne Mortuary in Winamac is family-owned and operated with 3 locations serving Pulaski County and the surrounding communities. Frayne Mortuary has provided our community with caring and compassionate service for loved ones. Our licensed staff is available to assist you with pre-need funeral planning and at-need funeral planning. We provide traditional burial and cremation services. We offer a full line of headstones and monuments at Frayne Mortuary in Winamac. It's our family serving your family.
The Saturday Sports Line continues with Kankakee Valley area coaches and special guests. Here's Sports Director Mitch Columbi.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Line. We now have an opportunity to transition to South Central and wrap up the Lady Satellite season with head coach Doug Nelson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mitch. How you guys doing?
We are doing fine. We're wrapping up a lot of our area girls basketball teams today. I know it didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you did take steps this year. This was your second year there at South Central. So talk about the growth and the work that you guys put in.
Yeah, again, thanks for all your coverage. We appreciate you. But we won our last, 6 of 8 or whatever, and we had things going the right direction. McCulver came out and kind of took some things away, and, it didn't end the way we wanted. But in the big picture, I think we have things moving in the right direction. I like our young guys coming back. I like our middle school kids coming up, and it's going to be a fun spring here for us to get ready for next year.
Yeah, we saw you against the Oregon Davis Lady Cats, and that was a big win, 54-46. It seemed to us like this team is rocking and rolling at the right time. And that game against Culver, I didn't think that score represented your team at all.
Well, again, it's hard to figure out what's going on inside the brains of 18-year-old kids. It's just But yeah, we thought we had things going in the right direction, and we shot the ball well against Oregon Davis in their gym where the sectional was, and and we just kind of came out and against Culver and played a little timid, and that's something we got to get past and be the aggressor, be more confident, and attack.
Yeah.
Like I said before, in any kind of fight or competition, there's an aggressor and there's the other guy, and against Culver, we were definitely the other guy. We were kind of on our heels a little bit, but. Yeah, we just got to get a more aggressive mindset, attack, and make them, keep the pressure on them on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, after that Oregon Davis game, you guys were able to get a little bit of a revenge against your rival, the Tri-Township Lady Tigers, beating them by 20 there to end the regular season. I know you fell to them the opening round of the PCC tournament, but, that's a turnaround. That was a big win for your girls.
Yeah, our kids came out really fired up, and, whatever that was, we need to bottle it. We came out, we played real hard against Tri-Township and played really well on both ends of the floor. We were effective on the offensive end. The ball was going in, and on defense, we were being disruptive. So, it was a good, fun night. And, it's always nice to beat those teams to the West.
Yeah, let's see some of the highlights. You beat Knox early on in the season. You beat Washington Township, a conference opponent. You beat Wheeler, River Forest, Hobart, Hebron, Triton. There's a lot of highlights in this season. Talk about some of the highlights that you remember from this season.
Well, so, again, it's not all about wins and losses. It was about the growth of our kids and, the direction we want to go. Again, our seniors were great. Sam Marks came back from the knee injury, and Ashlyn Strow had a nice shooting year. She made over 33s on the year, and she was third in the conference for that. But and then McKenna Welsh did a nice job inside, and she was about 8 points, 6 rebounds a game, and then Gwen Mendenhall. So those seniors are going to be tough to replace, but the guys we have coming up are competitive. You know what I mean? I'm to this morning. I'm at an 8th grade tournament over at Willow Creek in Portage, and we got a bunch of guys chomping at the bit, ready to come up and play at that high school level. So we just got to get them ready for the physicality and the speed, and and get them used to that, and again, our expectations about how hard we want to work in practice every day. I was talking with a friend last night over at Portage, the boys coach, Coach Klaus, and he said it's funny because everything he said are challenges that every coach faces, trying to practice game speed. They're 16-4. I mean, they're a good basketball team, and I stopped by his house last night, and we're talking, and he's complaining. I said, dude, this is all stuff I've said all year. You're fine. You're going to be fine. So if we could figure that out, like I said, we could be rich people, but it's just what we expect. And then that's going to have to pick up a little bit, our intensity and competitiveness in practice.
Yeah, we'll talk about the seniors here momentarily before you have to say goodbye to them, but talk about some of the returning players that you're excited to see take the next step, maybe also some leaders that you see that need to step into that leadership role.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that was another thing we talked about. It's hard to find kids that want to be leaders these days. They don't want to be the bad guy,
Yeah.
Sometimes a leader's got to grab somebody by the shirt and say, hey, you better start working hard. And when it comes from another kid, it's more more impressive than it is from the coach. But as far as our returners, that, like I said, Ashlyn Stroud is going to be. She's a junior. Should be a returning leading scorer. She was at about 8 or 9 points a game, and then we have Abby Kalinke. Nice little guard, and then Addison and Klinke, her sister. We have I'm trying to think of who else we got, but we have a lot of. They compete. Emily Hausman, nice. She's a sophomore. She's a little bulldog. She'll run through a wall for you, and you can win some games with guys like that. And so Lola Yaney. Lola's a sophomore. Nice little guard, and she makes good decisions with the basketball. So we have people that are ready to step up and do it, but it's a matter of doing it in the bright lights.
Yeah, you'd mentioned Addison Kalinke. I also saw you got Abby Kalinke in quite a bit the games we saw. Yeah,
she's a nice little shooter. Again, she's the competitor. She'll get after you and mix it up, and not afraid of backing down from anybody. But they just need more game reps, game speed reps of that experience, which you can't. It's like I said, we're going to have the summer's going to be very important for us this year, and maybe more than ever as far as just getting them that game speed varsity level experience.
I'll go ahead and give you the time to talk about your seniors.
Yeah, Callie Sutter. Callie came over from North Judson. She's a senior. She didn't score a whole lot, but she brought a different energy to our program, and we're going to miss her. I know she played a lot of basketball. She cared. and that's hard. Caitlin Duttlinger. Caitlin is another one, just a hard worker. She's one of those kids that live up on, that live on a farm and are up at 4 a.m. taking care of animals and stuff. She's got, muscle definitions. You can tell she's been throwing around some hay or whatever, but she's a strong kid. And she's hustle always at the bottom of every pile for loose balls and just a hard worker. And then, like I said, you got Gwen Mendenhall, who was a nice little shooter for us and did a good job on the defensive end. And McKenna Welsh, our presence inside, she competed and got better. And then, of course, Sam Marks. Sam, like I said, came back from the knee injury, and I thought Sam could have played at the next level if she wanted to. McKenna had people approach her about playing at the next level, so they're just not that. That's not what they want, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
So they're going to get ready to go to college, and but the impact they've had in our program has been pretty substantial.
I think a lot of the area coaches and a lot of the area teams are probably saying, finally, we get rid of the Marks sisters, because there was a run there of all these Marks sisters just running things there at South Central, being the leaders the last several years.
Yeah, she was I know for Sam was presence inside and out. She was our point guard. She had the ball most of the time in her hands. She was really good going to the basket, and just a great group of kids. They're super nice and hard workers, and sometimes the ball doesn't bounce the way you want, and that's okay. That's life.
Yeah.
But those are the kids you need in your program for you to be successful.
Well, you get a little bit of a break here, but I'm sure knowing you, you're going to start scratching your head, getting ideas together for next season. So what was the takeaway from this year and year 2? I've had a lot of coaches say it's usually around year 3 where the coaches finally get their game plans installed and their culture put together. So talk about what you're thinking about in the back of your mind as of right now.
Yeah, again, I it's kind of difficult to say, but it was hard this year because I kind of let things slide. We didn't practice as hard as we should have, and I really didn't step up and say anything. Or, just little things that add up that are the foundation of your program, or should be. And, that's going to change. My expectations are not going to change. You can't lower your standards, for your program based on the group of kids. Your standards got to travel with you. So I was a little lazy this year, and I was a little soft, and I'm not going to be so nice next year. We have things we need to do, and we have guys that are willing to do that. And I love the reason I love being at a smaller school is I can walk down the hall and talk to my 5th grade team, or I can see. So I know all the kids from 5th grade on up, and they're fighting, they're scrapping. We're having a successful late winter with that middle school group, and like I said, I'm in Portage this morning. I'm going to help the 8th graders play.
Nice.
We're going to play Lake Central and Portage. So, I really like our 8th grade group. We have some kids that are going to step up right away and contribute, and I'm excited about that.
I know you're an all-around sports fan. You said you were in Portage. Of course, you're up there in that area. Man, can you believe what's going on with the Chicago Bears right now?
Hey, we'll take it, huh? I wouldn't mind him in Hammond. My brother lives over in Griffith, and I said, hey, you can Airbnb your house, man.
You make a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll come over and mow that thing, but I'll be a taxi driver. But that would be exciting. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that would be exciting.
Well, Coach, as always, I sure do appreciate your time. It means a lot. You put in a lot of work, and we'll keep in touch, and I look forward to talking to you down the road.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. Hey, Mitch, you guys do an amazing job. You're really, really good, and I enjoy talking to you guys anytime you guys want to chat, and I'll see you. I'll see you down the road.
Likewise, Coach. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is head coach of the South Central Satellites. It is Doug Nelson here on the Saturday Sports Line. The Satellites end their season 10-12, but they're taking the next step. Coach Nelson's second year. We're going to take a break and come back. Athlete of the Week interviews on the way. Congratulations to the seniors at South Central. We wish you luck in the future.
Waste is your first choice for trash removal. LAP's Kirby Anderson.
We've went from 2 garbage routes to we're about ready to start the 5th route. We went from 10 roll-off trucks a day running to 16.
LAP's philosophy is this. Here's Honey Lamer.
Recycling is really important to us at LAP Waste. Our goal is to keep as much trash out of the landfills and help make our communities cleaner and make recycling easier for all of our customers in general.
574-542-4019.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
Frayne Mortuary in Winamac is family owned and operated with 3 locations serving Pulaski County and the surrounding communities. Frayne Mortuary has provided our community with caring and compassionate service for loved ones. Our licensed staff is available to assist you with pre-need funeral planning and at-need funeral planning. We provide traditional burial and cremation services. We offer a full line of headstones and monuments at Frayne Mortuary in Winamac. It's our family serving your family.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowen.
We are back for more from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. This is the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line. It's time to talk about our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, junior basketball player from West Central High School, Macie Allen. Macie had a great start to the postseason, helping the Lady Trojans become sectional champions for the first time since 2014. She scored 9 points in the quarterfinal and 12 points in both the semifinal and championship rounds. What a big-time win it was for the Trojans, becoming 2025-2026 sectional champions. Without further ado, here is my sit-down interview with Macie Allen.
I'm talking with our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, Macie Allen. Macie had an amazing sectional run, and it really was an amazing moment for Trojan Nation as a whole. It had been since 2014 since they'd won a sectional championship. So talk about that moment when you guys were able to hoist that trophy. What was that like for you and the team?
I was very nervous because the play that he drew up, like with 30 seconds to go and we were down 1 point, he drew up the play that I would get the shot. But I walked out there and I was so nervous, and I was like, if I miss this shot, then we lose sectionals. But then Emily got the shot up and we won it, and I think that moment was just like the best moment ever. Like it was awesome. It was crazy.
What was a goal coming into this season? Was being a sectional champion one of them?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think beating Tri-County definitely was like what pushed us harder to just be there. Just beating them was like what got us there.
Yeah. Let's talk about the rest of this team. Who else on the team do you believe we should know about?
I would say Cassie Lattimore. I mean, she's a good athlete. She's fast, she's shifty, and she's a good athlete, and I think she's going to be good in these coming seasons.
Yeah. Let's talk about the coaching staff. What is it about Coach Mellon that you appreciate?
He prepares us for the teams that we're getting ready to play. Like, we know who they are, we know who the shooters are, and he definitely prepares us very good, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Tell us your parents' names.
David and Casey.
And talk about the support system they've been for you.
I mean, they come to all my games. They're my biggest supporters. Like, they've always been my biggest supporters. Like, if I need help, they are always there to help me. And, my dad, he will always help me with whatever I need, even if I don't like to hear it. He will always help me.
I know the season didn't end the way that you and the girls wanted, but it still was an amazing season overall, making it to regional, to get that experience and to come back, even stronger from that. What was a goal that you had in mind for this team? I think just to, be
the team bond we have, I think we just all wanted to be a close team and like get somewhere with the team, and I think we made that goal. Yeah. And I'm glad we did.
What does it mean to Macie Allen to be a West Central Trojan?
It's amazing. I mean, the small community that we have, we love the community, and we love all of our supporters that we have, and it's amazing to be a Trojan.
Well, Macie, I sure do appreciate your time. Congratulations for being named one of our Tyler Roth WKVI Athletes of the Week.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate Macie for her time. Also, thank you to Athletic Director Jeff Messer for helping me set that interview up. As we are taking a quick break, more sports talk on the way. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on the breeze. Baby, get ready.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowen on the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
The team at LAP Waste is ready to serve you. Here's Honey Lamer.
Yes, we are so blessed at LAP Waste. We have been able to expand our staffing, and we have some amazing drivers, office help. We are just absolutely blessed in the group that we currently have.
Kirby Anderson, how does someone reach out to LAP to become a customer?
It's real simple. They can either email lapwaste@yahoo.com, and then we will get in contact with them, or they can call the office at 574-542-4019.
Listen for more insight in local high school sports on the Saturday Sports Line. Here's your sports director, Mitch Columbi.
We're back to talk Tri-Township Lady Tiger basketball with head coach Christian Porter as we wrap the Lady Tigers season up. It was Coach Porter's second year at Tri-Township already. Coach, and in your opinion, how did you think it went?
Obviously, wins and losses are, part of it, but with a 9-14 on the year, but when you only got 8 girls and you only rotate really 6, and it's no, I've said that a bunch of times on here this year that it's no secret that the 9 wins was it was pretty. I think it was a pretty awesome thing for those young ladies, and I'll say this too is like the amount of effort over the years of coaching is like you get a kid here and there that like it kind of clicks with you. It's like, okay, that kid just bought into me. Like I get it. Man, to have 8 girls, all 8 girls completely buy in from start to finish to what I wanted to do, and the amount of effort having to give, like whether it was taking charges and floor dives and talking and just working their butts off every day, both in practice and then applying that to the game. It's like if I could, I was thinking this, it's like if I could bottle it and sell it, I think there's a lot of coaches in Indiana that would have taken the effort of these 8 girls and would I would be a rich man if I could have done that. So they worked their rears off. So not much you can complain about when it comes to that.
And you look at the season, you beefed up the schedule a little bit. Go ahead and talk about that. I mean, 9-14
I didn't. There was no, Culver, we left Culver. You always put Culver Academy where they're playing for a semi-state. we went up to Chesterton, played John Glenn, and took them down to the absolute wire. That was maybe the most fun game I've ever coached in my life. It was 19-19 with a minute to go, and a girl hits a 3, and you just hats off to her and stuff, and that was a blast. But I mean, yeah, I totally beefed up the schedule, and we were competing with teams like Tri-County. The score was 30-34 against West Central. They win their sectional. They had an awesome year, so it's like, no, we had no slouch of a schedule by any means. So it may be a little that record might be a little, I don't know what the word is, but.
And then and then you talk about the PCC. I mean, you still got the Morgan Township who had a great season.
Yeah, took them to double overtime. They won the PCC. You know, I would say upset Couts. We held Couts to the lowest they were held all regular season. In the PCC, we held them to 45. Marquette didn't even hold them to 45 in the regular season, so I was pretty proud of that. And stuff. So yeah,
Westville.
Westville is Westville. Yeah, we got in foul trouble that game, but we cut it within 5 points in the fourth quarter. So yeah, our sectional was absolutely loaded as well. So we couldn't have had a better draw, and it just couldn't get it quite done in the semifinal. But yeah, it was a loaded schedule for sure.
You had highlights throughout this season, and I mean, there were times where we saw you on the court, and you guys played. You and the girls played really good basketball. Talk about some of those highlights. You kind of mentioned that game where you went down to the wire. I know that, things happened, but there were some highlights in this season I feel like to take away.
Oh, for sure. And it's really cool to see in those 6, 5 of them are seniors, and one of them is a freshman, is Emily Hunke and stuff. And there's a million things you could talk about. Lucia, you guys were there, or you were there for the call, Mitch, when she hits the game winner against Oregon Davis. That was pretty awesome. That game against John Glenn was in our 75th anniversary tournament. John Glenn come in with 15 or 16 wins, and they were ranked like number 13 in I think they were 3A, and you take them down to the wire, and I think that gave the girls a lot of confidence as well. But one highlight too that I like to, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but pretty amazing thing I saw in a game that I've never really seen is our freshman Emily Hunke. We're playing River Forest. Addison tips the ball to her, and we kind of do the same thing every time, and she goes left-handed right to the basket, scores. Comes down again, hits another one, and all of a sudden she went on a 15-0 run to start the game by herself as a freshman. It was pretty cool to see. I've never seen anything quite like that. So a little freshman out there, and she had 15 straight. So It was pretty cool. 15-0 run by herself. So that was pretty cool to see.
Well, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna go ahead, because I was actually gonna have him talk about, because he's got 5 seniors to say goodbye to.
Yes.
So. And if I'm not mistaken, one of them is Lucia Orhaus, who is the foreign exchange student, and have her come over and be integrated into the team. That takes some time to get the
100%,
chemistry, but
100%.
she played so well.
Yes, she is.
So go ahead, add to that, and then your seniors.
Okay, yeah. So I'll start with Lucia. Very, very proud too that she was a PCC all-conference player, one of the 12, which is really cool. I mean, to establish herself that quickly, her handling the ball and her court vision, she makes everyone else better. And then I guess we'll run down it. And Briley Rust, absolute leader on the floor. I can't even thank her enough for how much she led on the floor and how much she talked. Jaden Carr, the Dennis Rodman of the team for sure. That's who Lupita Cernio. She really stepped up her game, especially defensively this year. And then Addison Hendrickson, she was also all-conference player. She gets to go play college basketball at Ancilla, and she was just nominated to a Northwest Indiana All-Star game, which actually has a loaded. I was very proud. I couldn't believe it. I mean, she very loaded with Lillian Barnes and Lanaya Davis and some really good players. She's going to get to go play in that in April and stuff. So I think I just named all 5 seniors. So I don't want to leave anybody out. But yeah, they definitely gave me. I had the best coaching gig in Indiana with these girls. They bought in, and I loved it. So couldn't thank them enough.
Well, and then talk about some of the returning players. You kind of mentioned the freshman there that had a good year. But
Emily.
Talk about some of the other returners and now who need to step up into that leadership role.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have 3 sophomores returning, and then we'll see. We have 4 8th graders. So, but yeah, Emily's got to step it up and really give what she can give, and kind of go. It's a complete rebuild. So I'll just say it like that. It'd be a complete rebuild next year, and only sophomores and freshmen. So
yeah. Well, and then, I've talked to other coaches. They say that, by year 3, that's when you get the culture installed. That's when you kind of get things going in the direction that you see fit. So what did you take away from this year, along with year 1, that you'll now come back and be better for year 3?
Well, yeah, I think we've talked about this before, and it's like I just said, if I could bottle up their effort and things like that's the most important thing to me. So I would say that I've already gotten there, and like one of the most important aspects of our program would be that effort and stuff. So I think we're there, but now you have to apply that to a completely new group of girls who are the 8th grade, which I am currently coaching as well. So yeah, it'd be applying with these seniors, that mindset and everything. You got you're starting over. So.
Yeah, you're completely starting over because you're going to have one girl with experience coming back, and the 4 8th graders coming in, and the 2 other sophomores.
Yep.
So you talk about. I don't think people fully understand.
Yep.
The growth that it takes to go from 8th grade basketball to play varsity basketball. And I don't care if it's 1A or 4A. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
The speed of the game is exponentially quicker.
Yep.
And I think Emily found that out at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Her shot was being rushed because in her mind was telling her that they didn't think she was fast enough, but she was fast enough. But when you see everything else moving at that pace, you tend to rush yourself, and you don't need to. And that usually takes, for somebody that has the skill level, usually takes 10 to 15 games to actually start feeling comfortable with what's going on around you. And now you got to take that and do that with 7 brand new girls.
Yep. Yeah. And again, and then physically,
right.
You can say physically as well. I mean, Culver's a perfect example of, you guys are there, but the Culver girls are so physical and things like that. It'll be the second game on the schedule next year. And it's like to match that physicality with some freshmen and sophomores, it's going to take quite a bit of work. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a team that took Elkhart Christian, who's playing for a semi-state, to the wire.
Yep.
And actually it was tied 25-25 going in the 4th, and Elkhart Christian's 4th-ranked team in 1A. So and they got pretty much everybody coming back except for one.
Yep.
Well, you got an interesting story you wanted to share with us?
Oh, this was just a brief basketball story. I like telling stories, but I'm sitting there with my grandpa at the South Central game. The boys' game was played before our girls' game, and he's sitting there, and it was, boys got beat pretty good, and they're going up and down. He goes, man, this reminds me of something. And my grandpa's 85, and I said, oh, he goes, when I was in 7th grade, he remembers this like, this isn't like somebody scratching their head trying to remember things. It's like so this is 1955, and he goes and watches Elston. He goes, Crispus Attucks and Oscar Robertson came up to Elston. I said, well, what? He goes, yeah, I saw Oscar Robertson play. I said, he never just told me this. Right. And basketball we don't know life without basketball in my family. And he said, oh yeah. He goes, I was sitting there 7th grade, and he's naming Elston players, Dick Cook, who was my superintendent in Westville right before he retired and things like that when I was in school. And he goes, oh yeah. And he goes, get this. He goes, Elston, always top 10 in the state.
Right.
So, but they're playing the team. And he goes, Elston rips off a bucket. Yep. Another one, bucket. All of a sudden, it's 10-0 Elston on Crispus Attucks.
Wow.
And Oscar Robertson's a junior. And he says, Ray Crow calls a timeout for Attucks. And he says the water was turned on in the flip of the switch, and he said there was nothing Elston could do. And he said it wasn't even Oscar Robertson. He said it was Hallie Bryant, who ended up becoming a Globetrotter. And he said it was over then, and it was done. Yeah, and I looked up the score in E.T. Pearl, and it ended up being like 89-60 or something like that. And then he said this. It was a 2-way contract, so they play at Elston first in 55. Well, they go down to Attucks in 56. That's when the Attucks didn't lose a game. I think 32-0 or something like that. And they go down there, and it was the worst loss in Elston history. It was 123-59. They got beat by Oscar Robertson's senior year. But amazing. My grandpa remembers it was 10-0. Ray Crow calls a timeout. Hallie Bryant comes out and just goes nuts. And they end up just never looking back. But my grandpa got to see Oscar.
That's so cool.
You may have seen Glenn Robinson play, or I saw Robbie Hummel play, and Bryce Drew.
I played against him.
Yeah. My grandpa as a 7th grader, sat there and watched Oscar Robertson in the heyday of high school basketball in Indiana. Got to watch probably top 10 player of all time in basketball history.
Literally.
And got to watch him play.
Some people would say he's the greatest.
Yeah.
Speaking of Elston, Judson took on Michigan City Elston in the regional championship with Charles Macon, who was Indiana Mr. Basketball.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, so and
that's a good story.
Yeah, and I got a bunch, but he told me that the other day, and I'm just sitting there. It's just like it was nothing. Nonchalant, 85 years old.
Something clicked in his brain.
Yeah, he's just like I got to, and then remembered the game in detail, what had happened. So
just something in his brain.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's awesome. Thought you'd like that. Yeah.
Well, Coach, I always appreciate talking to you and coming in to talk about your girls. It means a lot. I know the season didn't end the way you'd wanted it to, but it's stuff to take away and get better at. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys so much for always having me on. I love coming down here and talking and sharing some basketball with you.
Absolutely. We'll talk down the road.
Yep. Thank you.
That is head coach of the Tri-Township Lady Tigers, Christian Porter, here on the Saturday Sports Line. Good luck to the Tigers seniors. We appreciate them. We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to wrap up things for the Winamac Lady Warriors with head coach Tony Stesiak next.
Here we fall. History won't care at all. Lady for bed, like a lady.
Braylon Jackson, and he's pushing the tempo. Here comes Braylon. Takes the bump, but it gets the and one.
Good take there by Braylon Jackson.
Don't hear the bell, but you answer the call. Comes to you, as to us all. We just waiting for the hammer to fall.
Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is all about community and keeping our community spotlight shining on the accomplishments of our youth. That's why PMH is proud to be a sponsor of our local high school sports action on WKVI, our community radio station. Pulaski Memorial Hospital. Quality care closer to home.
It's hard to believe, but time sure does fly by. Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox are celebrating over 30 years of taking care of all of your insurance needs in our communities.
If I could turn back time.
And we're not going anywhere. Stop in and see Jim and the crew at Collins Insurance Agency in downtown Knox. Insurance you can count on from a business you've trusted since 1989. Proud presidential partners of Western Reserve.
Now let's return to more of the Saturday Sports Line with WKVI Sports Director Mitch Columbi.
And we welcome you back as we will transition to talk Winamac Lady Warrior basketball with head coach Tony Stesiak in his 4th year at Winamac. 19-7, coach, overall. That's a good year in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to be still playing today, but there's about 400 other coaches that would say that because there's only 32 teams left playing today. But if you can't do that, try to move the program forward. That's your goal, anybody's goal every year as a player, as a coach. Leave things a little better than you found it. So when you look at from 4 to 14 to 19 wins over the last 4 years, pretty proud of what we've accomplished, and the senior class and everybody in the program, coaches, players, but the senior class has really left their mark. But pretty proud of this season and the things we were able to accomplish moving this thing forward.
All right, let's go back to the sectional championship game. Let's talk about that where where your season came to an end. We were getting score updates online. Seems like you guys battled and just ran out of gas there in the second half. Tell us how that went down.
Well, in order for us to be successful all year, there's really 3 things, night in and night out: shooting well and outscoring our opponent from the 3-point line, rebounding, and transition points. If we did well in those 3 things and won those 3 categories, it was a good night for us. Bremen outplayed us in all 3 of those categories. Beat us at our own game, so to speak. And they're really good. Like right now, as we speak, they're up 31-18 on Lapel.
Wow.
And Lapel handled Rensselaer comfortably last week in the regional. So losing to that Bremen team, no shame in that.
Right.
My favorite line is sometimes you run into a bigger dog, and they were. Now, going back to that, we were down 9 at halftime. They threw in deep, like 25 feet plus buzzer beaters at the end of the first and second quarter. And in a tournament format like that, championship game, packed gym, momentum is huge, and you never know when it's going to pop up. But when one team can get it, especially in a one and done in a championship game scenario, that was monstrous. And this is a Bremen team that, is in their third big time tournament run in a row, full of juniors and seniors, and their crowd was sort of waiting for that. They had more people than we did, but it's a 5 or 10 minute drive from Bremen versus an hour from Winamac. And especially the last one at the end of the first half, we were down 6 with the ball, thinking we hold it for the last shot. If we can hit a 3, then we're down 3. It's basically one possession game. That's where we wanted to be. We just wanted to prolong the game. And as I said when we talked to you guys that morning, if get it to the fourth quarter where it's still anybody's ball game, or at least be able to make a run, because we've been good closers. Even if we haven't played well, we've kind of given ourselves a chance at the end. But we missed the 3, took it a little early, and then had a chance for rebound, and both our players were kind of going for it. Nobody could get a handle on it. Ball looks like it's going to go out of bounds. One of Bremen's top guards literally dives, saves the ball to a post player, kicks it up to a guard, hits a bomb 25-foot 3. I mean, that's just a play. Like, I'm surprised it didn't end up on SportsCenter, to be honest with you. And just the momentum was just everything at that point. That Bremen crowd cut loose, looked in the eyes of our players, tried to rationalize, like, hey, those are 2 threes. It's really, that's 6 points. It's really a 3-point game. You're trying to rationalize everything, and you just saw the kids look in their eyes like we were all rattled. Like, that was a really, really good team. Not that they weren't prepared or anything like that, but they were just better than us. Like, there's been a lot of losses through the years, and Chris, what I'm talking about, where you're up all night and you're like, man, if we could have just done this, or did this gone different, or if you do this a little bit different. That game was not one of those. Like, that was just a better team, and in all facets of the game, and a worthy champion, and you shake their hands at the end of the game, and like, yep, you're better than us. Like, there's no shame in that. And then it's just about not letting a scoreboard in one night sort of affect what's truly been one of my more favorite seasons in coaching, to be honest with you. Just how this group's got along, and how they've competed for really 4 years, but especially this year, the mix of those 5 returners that had such a tough year but hung with us last year and came back. And I think that's a special group right there. But then those freshmen that came in those 5 just really embraced them, because they knew, like we said, as fun as it is to say I'd love to play every minute of every game, when you go through a season like that and you pretty much literally do that, and you see how it wears on you, they knew we needed them, and they just embraced them. And just those little moments you see them in the hallways or practice, the team bond was there. And it was just going every day to practice and games was just a highlight, regardless of how well we played, just because it was a special group. So regardless of how long it would have lasted, if we're still playing today and you're cutting down the nets at Gamebridge or whatever, it's kind of like parroting, the gig. There's a time when you got to kind of send them off, and it ended a little sooner than we would have liked, but at the same time, I'm not going to let that impact the specialness of this group.
There were a lot of highlights this season, Coach. You started the season off 4-0. You ended the regular season on a 5-game winning streak. You beat Career Academy in the opening round. You beat LaVille at LaVille. They were hosting that sectional to get to the sectional championship round. Candace Croft, what a year for her. She broke the single game 3-pointers made, the career record for 3-pointers made, and also the single season career 3-pointers made. And then for you yourself, you cracked over 300 career wins as a head coach. coach. So you're right. This is a very special year, not only for the Winamac Warrior Lady basketball program, but also for you.
Yeah, it's more about the program. This is I'm just keeping the seat warm, moving this thing forward. I appreciate and respect the fact that basically in my lifetime it's been Jim Swaney, Jeff Wagner, Cole Croft, and I'm next in line. So that's definitely the program and the community is why I wanted to be at Winamac, and I appreciate and greatly respect that. So it's not about me. I'm just trying to move this program forward and treat it with the respect and all the things that it deserves. But I would like to talk about Candace Croft for a minute, because this is truly an elite career and season. And I had to write all these numbers down because, my goodness, it's impressive. She led the conference in scoring. She led in assists, top 10 in rebounds, steals, her three-point shooting, as you said, she career single season. Oh, by the way, second in the state in made threes.
Wow.
And how about 24th in the country, according to Max Preps, and made threes. Wow. Her 490 points this year alone was just short of a single season record. Had we probably played one more game, had we won that game and made it to regional, she probably sets the single season scoring record. She just finished just shy of the assist single season record at 132. And then for her career, she finished fourth in this storied program's history with 1,214 points, one of 7 with 1,000 points, set the career record assists and three-pointers made. And that's just it's truly elite. And, she's not just all conference. Breaking news, she's HNAC Player of the Year, which is well-deserved. One of the best players in the area, this part of the state. And as I told her, and as I said, it's going to be hard for me to hand out the number 3 to anybody in our program for as long as I'm coaching. And that's about as big a compliment as I can give a player. And obviously it's a little bit to the family, because her dad, people don't understand how tough that was. Your dad was coaching. Your dad coached your older sister, Kingsley, and he's not going to be able to coach you. I don't think people truly get and respect the family in general, but what, Candace went through of, hey, here's this new guy coming in. My dad just left, and I'm not getting to play for him, and I got to play for this guy. And it wasn't always, sunshine and rainbows, I'll be honest, with a lot early on, but hung in there, and it took us a while, I think, to maybe figure each other out, as did, everybody coming in that first year. But I soon realized, her quietness is just an intensity to win and to be the best she can. But, oh, by the way, if you've ever paid attention to her, she celebrates way more for everybody else than anything she does by herself. And Coach Croft has been great in embracing that whole thing and understanding. And, I know her sister wore 3 before it. So that thing about not putting anybody in the number 3 is just more of, not just Candace, but the entire family and what they've meant and what they've stood for. So just a truly, truly elite career and a truly special senior season. And I can't speak highly enough about all that she's accomplished. And, she's also up for academic All-State. She's going to go play basketball at Franklin. Just a truly special career all the way around. And, even though Merce Iverson and Corinne Ulrich statistically aren't going to be up in those levels, their ability to bounce back from injuries, to play key roles on defense or rebounding and complementary scoring and be good people and be good leaders in their own right. That group of 3 seniors has been through a lot. To build the first group at Winamac that I've been able to coach, from freshmen, seniors, all the way through. All the seniors that have played here since I've been here have a special place in my heart for helping, me try to build this program further along. I don't want to call it a rebuild, because all those coaches have done a good job. You're going to have ups and downs as a small school program, but, those seniors have done a lot, meant a lot. And as I tell all our seniors that graduate, there's always an open invite to come back and coach at some level in the program. I want those players back as much as possible. So Corinne Rourke already is. Her dad's coached our 6th grade team last year and this year, and she's helping out. And we really want to try to get former players back as much as we can. So that's just truly a special senior class, and they're going to be even better people moving forward than they were basketball players. And truly, that's what it's all about. These 4 years are nice, but I'm a lot more concerned about the next 40 than these last 4.
Yeah, you're talking about that being able to hand out that number 3 to somebody else. I go back to, and people probably get tired of hearing me talk about my time at Tri-Township or whatever, but early on I had gone and I wanted to have the number 15 at Tri-Township retired. Justine Charlesworth, who was a great player, the all-time leading scorer in girls basketball history at Tri-Township, went on to play in college and had a great career there. But they were like, no, we're not going to do that. So then I took it. Okay, I said, if we're not going to retire the number, then if we're never going to let anybody else wear it, then me personally, that's going to go to somebody that I think is who I feel was the most deserving of what it means to be a Lady Tiger. It's kind of like, Lowell football, the number 6, that was the special player. You knew when you played Lowell, you looked for that number 6 because that was the number that they handed to the kid who was the man. And so anytime anybody wore number 15 for me, they were going to be the girl. So I don't know, maybe that's a way you can honor the number 3, just something to throw out there. But what she's meant, you go back to 490 points this season, and how many assists did you say?
132.
And to me, that is amazing. You think about, okay, she scored individually 490 points, but then she also assisted on 132 other made baskets. That is that's unfathomable.
Yeah, and 363 for her career.
Right. It's just amazing.
That's the thing. Like she didn't go to the free throw line a boatload of time. As you look at like girls in the state and the area and conference that scored like she did, she goes to the line very, very little compared to some of those other top players. Like, she's a shot maker, and then if it's not there, she doesn't shoot it 1-on-3. She's not a player that tries to go 1-on-4 in the paint and make something happen. Like, she'll take it if it's there, and if somebody else has a better shot, she's going to get them the ball. Like, it's truly what we call a lead guard. Like, it's not necessarily it's point guard, it's coach on the floor. All those things are true, but like, it was important for her to have team success as well. So, whether it's a dump down to Iverson, a kick out to Sadie Popejoy, any whatever else might go on. Like, she understood winning, and winning is about what mattered the most to her. And she had high goals and set them, and she's always the first one to get out there when practice starts to shoot around, or when we get to a gym, she's always like the first one on the floor. Like, you notice sometimes you come out at halftime and kids are like, there's a minute and a half left before the halftime buzzer or whatever. I'm just going to kind of get a drink and kind of hang out. She's like, nope, I'm getting a basketball. I'm going to do some form shooting, or I'm going to shoot some free throws. Like, there wasn't really anything wasted. And, she's also plays sports all other seasons. So it's all that other work, a lot of excuses why I could be busy. She found time to be successful in all the other sports. And that's also something that as a program moving forward, you want to tell that story about it, not just the highlights and the records, which are enough, but you got to understand how she got there. She didn't just pick up a basketball when practice started at the start of the year. Like, she played all those other sports, but she still found time a lot of times on her own in other places to get better when nobody's watching, so that she could excel when everybody's watching.
Well, Coach, before we say goodbye, real quick, just an update. Bremen is now up 41-24 on LaPel. Right. Like, and that was us. Like, when we were only down 9, we thought, hey, let's try to make a run, and we kind of hung around, and we did kind of cut into a little bit of that 9-point halftime lead at the end of the third, but they just have this burst ability. We were down 20 at the end of the third. Like, they can
score in a hurry, and they're really good. And it would not surprise me if they're playing next weekend down in Indianapolis. Like, they're that good. Like, it's not going to be easy. There's a Whitcoe team probably waiting for them tonight, who's really good as well. And you get to this point, and everybody's really, really good, obviously. But that Bremen team is something special. So it just adds to the fact of, like, no shame in how it ended, but still pretty proud of how it went.
Well, Coach, I always appreciate you taking the time over the last 4 years. Your first year at Winamac was my first year here back at WKVI, so it's been an honor to get to know you. A great season overall. Congratulations on all the highlights and the accolades, and we'll stay in touch and talk down the road.
Yeah, Mitch, that is kind of neat that I guess you and I are sort of attached there.
Tied at the hip.
A little bit, right? Like, kind of, me coming to Winamac and you coming into the area, definitely taking over for big shoes, right? I mean, in your case, at the radio, and then me in this program, just kind of doing our part. I guess I didn't realize that you mentioned that, but honored to sort of be tied to you that way, and appreciate all you have done. It's not easy, but your efforts to highlight all these programs and all these sports in all these communities in a huge area, and taking everything on, and you do it so professionally, and you care about the kids, and you want to try to get everybody's stories out there. And I appreciate all you guys in WKVI have done to do that. It's truly special. And Chris, you and I have known each other a long time, and I appreciate, you're speaking up for coaches as much as you do, and the things that you do to give the fans an idea of maybe what coaches or what players are going through. So it's a unique and I think a valuable experience that the listeners get from the players, the coaches, all the things that you guys do to highlight all the great things in our area. There's a lot of great people at Winamac in the sports, but also all the areas that we play. On the girls' side of basketball, there's a lot of good coaches, a lot of good people, and I'm just blessed to be part of this area. And I'm proud to be a Warrior, blessed to be a Warrior, and excited, proud of what we've accomplished, and excited about what still lies ahead as well. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right, Coach, take care.
Yep, you too.
Good luck.
That is head coach of the Winamac Lady Warriors, Tony Stesiak. Great fourth year for him. 19-7, the Winamac Lady Warriors go. Like he said, they fell to a very good Bremen Lady Lion team. That game is on our other station right now, Max 98.3 FM with Rusty Nixon. He's going to follow Bremen and see how far they go. We're going to take a quick break, come back. The Where the Now segment with Harold Welter's up next.
Entry to Piper Lake. Now dump off to Marissa Iverson. No good on the first attempt, and the second one's good. She gets fouled.
From Compton, then back to Croft. Croft, far side of the floor, fakes right, goes left, dump off to Corinne Ulrich. Beautiful play by Candace
Great
Croft.
pass.
Last 3.5 minutes of the opening quarter. Croft across the timeline here. At the volleyball line, crossing over, going inside. She is feeling it tonight. Left-handed layup. Nava, three on the way. Too hard. Rebounded by Candace Croft. 2:30 to go in the ball game. It's all Warriors here in the War on 35. Here's the three. Top
There
of the
it
key.
is.
Candace
Let's
Croft.
go.
She does it.
Let's go.
Candace Croft. Another record. And you heard it here first on WKVI.
A little wave to the sister there sitting right in front of us.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowen on the longest running high school sports show in Indiana, the Saturday Sports Line.
Pushing it fast to Jordan Green, far corner three. Cash money. McGowen drives in, back out the car. Car spins, gets in, and a nice move. Baseline.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of local high school sports coverage on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Tyson Mellon, a 1995 graduate of West Central High School, and we call this segment, Where Are They Now? But we know where you are now, Tyson. You're coaching girls that won a big sectional championship for the first time in a long time. Got to say congratulations on that, and I know that there's still excitement about what those young ladies did, huh?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been quite a ride the last month or so. One exciting sectional week when the draw comes out. You got Tri-County in the first round, and they're the conference champs the last 3 years, and back-to-back sectional champs. You got to be ready for that first game, and the girls sure were. I mean, they played their hearts out. So.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about that here in a minute, but I want to go back to your playing days in high school. You graduated in 1995, and a team that just got better every year that you played, and you played a lot of ball games back then. Of all the games you played, which is the one you remember more than any others all these years later?
Okay, sure. So that was a long time ago, man. So we never won a sectional in my time at West Central. I don't think we didn't win conference, but we were close to a sectional. Won my junior year. Me and Pat Culp and Wes Allen, Brad Odom, Clint McCarty, Todd Cabrick, all those guys. Chad Clark, and there were several, and Judson was the team to beat, and that was back with Ryan Bales and Wes Radke and Shannon Brown. There's a Trusty and Clint Howard and Tony Lukac, all those guys. We never beat them from 6th grade on up. We never beat that team. And my junior year, it wasn't the finals; it was the semifinals. We were ahead the whole second half, it seemed like, and there's a lot of things that stand out in that game. Todd Cabrick was a sophomore, and he was struggling at the line. I don't know if he was like 2 for 8 or 2 for 10, or it wasn't too good. Like the pressure was getting to us. The last seconds of the game, we were taking the ball out under Judson's basket, and Howard kicked the ball off Pat Culp and went out of bounds, and it was Judson's ball, and of course the crowd's going crazy. I don't know if we're up 1 or 2, but we have a chance. And if we just get it in and hit our foul shots, we have the big upset that anybody's seen in a long, long time. And sure enough, Judson takes the ball out of bounds on their own basket, and Michael Vesley hits a 3 over Cody Hoker, and as time ran out, and the Judson crowd storms the court, and we are like, what just happened? So that's probably the game that stands out in all my years. We played South Newton for a conference championship my senior year, and they had Chris Kripe and Mark Wheelock, and they were loaded, Michael Kahn, and it was at our place, and they took it to us that game. That was another game that stood out, but yeah, a lot of good memories. A lot of ones where we're not on the winning side, but it was a fun time.
Well, you mentioned a bunch of the guys you played with, and boy, that's a pretty good list of outstanding athletes.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't bad. We weren't bad by any means, but those big games, we just one or two things need to go your way, and we'll talk about the sectional with the girls, but when it doesn't go your way, when things don't just one play here or there can make a huge difference, and that's part of life, right? I mean, that's part of life. You fight through the adversities here and there, and it only makes you stronger. So.
Well, it's really interesting that two guys from the class of 1995 are now head coaches at West Central High School. You won that sectional, and Brad Odom's got those guys going and on a great season, hoping to win a sectional championship as well. But I want to go back and talk about this sectional championship team that you just coached. You know, one of the things that you did in high school, your classes did in high school, is every year you got better. And your girls, now the 7 years, you didn't have that winning season for 4 years. Now you've had 3 winning seasons in a row, but they've just gotten better and better. What has been the key to that?
For sure, it's the amount of time that the players put in, and the support from the parents. This group of girls started in 2nd and 3rd grade and has played basketball all the way through. And before I got there, that wasn't necessarily the case. We didn't have a strong youth program. So my first experience coaching girls basketball, I coached Emily Clarkey's 6th grade season, and I had no idea what to expect, and they're pretty good athletes. There was a ton of girls. You got Emily and Emma Nielsen and Kristen Shepard. Just a handful of Tori Culp for sure, and. I thought, okay, we'll be all right. We'll be pretty good. Nope, we were 4-6, and about half the teams we played are just, running fast breaks, running plays left and right, and I'm like, there's something wrong here. Like, this is the first time our girls have touched the basketball, and you can tell that the teams that we played are have been playing for a while. So that was the turning point for me. Was like, we gotta change what we're doing here, and luckily, I had 2 girls in 3rd and 4th grade, and we decided right then and there that we're gonna change our process. So we started a youth program, and it's been going ever since. And girls put in the time. Parents are invested. They're the ones who have to drive it, right? They're taking girls to practice. They're taking girls to games, and we've had a great buy-in at West Central.
One of the things that really impressed me about this group, Tyson, was the fact that they really believed. I mean, people talk about that 1-point win in the sectional, and boy, did you get lucky. That wasn't luck. That was all those years of hard work, and they believed they were going to win.
Yeah, we talked on Monday after the sectional. Just kind of, I wanted to see where their heads were at. Get a feel for. I mean, are they in shock, or we've got a whole nother week to prepare for Saturday. What's their expectations? They said once we were able to beat Tri-County, that they knew we were going to win it. I was like, wow, because we had played Pioneer a 3-point game the weekend before, and it's like, you guys knew you were going to win that game? Oh yeah, Coach, we knew. So, the Tri-County game was amazing. Once, that's another team that the girls hadn't beaten. Sydney's grade, the senior class has never beat them. Just like me and North Judson, Tri-County was that team that we could never beat all the way through, and then they finally did it, and they were pumped. I mean, they were on cloud 9, and then going into the sectional final, it was 1-point game. We got up 5, we twice. And then in the fourth quarter, we're down 1 with like a minute and a half left. And that's not something you expect, I guess. You knew it was going to be a close game, but we had our chances, and Pioneer did a great job. They were hitting shots, big time shots, and so that was it was just back and forth. But then that last minute and a half. I think I burned 2 timeouts in a minute and a half, and finally I said, somebody's got to shoot the ball, because we were just holding it. Everybody's afraid to take a shot, and finally Cassie, at the timeout, I said, somebody's got to shoot it, and then everyone's got to crash the boards. Sure enough, Cassie Lattimore got open in the corner and shot it, and she missed, but just like we said in the huddle, girls crashed the boards, and Sydney was on the inside, and then there was a Pioneer girl, and then Emily Bunn was on the outside, and Emily came in. You know, you watch film, and that ball just went over the hands of the Pioneer girl right into Emily's hands, and she was able to lay it in for our go-ahead basket. And, you know, I called timeout again. Luckily, I had enough to set our defense, and we had a foul to give, and we talked about that strategy. And fortunately for us, you know, like I said, things kind of got to go your way. Pioneer burned their last timeout right after I did, and he didn't have anything else to use to set up a play. And, one thing led to another. We contested a 3 by their best 3-point shooter. You know, watching film, Sydney probably didn't let her land clean. It could have been a foul, but the refs didn't call it in the last, 2 seconds of the game. And, people say it was luck. It wasn't luck, but things do have to go your way. I mean, there's got to be things that go your way. A shot's got to go in, like Emily shot. A rebound just out of reach of Pioneer's hands, and a contested shot that wasn't called a foul. I mean, things got to happen. Things got to happen your way, and it did.
And again, it came down to they believed they could do it.
Oh, for sure. Yep, for sure, without a doubt.
Yep, got it done. Hey, Tyson, growing up there in the Francisville area, as you played in high school, who were some of the people who were like your role models, or who helped you be successful and still helping you be successful in life?
Oh, well, definitely my dad. You know, he was my coach, all through elementary and middle school, and luckily he was able to join the team as a JV coach my junior and senior year. And he's been my role model my whole life. And I think it's some of the coaches that we had growing up. Jay Snyder was there 2 years, and before that, when I first entered high school, Scott Weiss was there. Just the impact they make on young kids. Every coach, or every, like I love basketball. That was my thing. So whatever coach said, I was going to do, and just the impact that those guys had in my life. But yeah, I mean, the main one's my dad.
We're talking with Tyson Mellon, a 1995 graduate of West Central High School, here on our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll be back to continue our conversation after this timeout.
Now's the perfect time to get speed and savings you can count on during Surf Internet's Winter Lifetime Savings Event. Power your home with fast, reliable fiber internet that includes free professional installation, starting at just $30 per month with AutoPay. There are no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. Plus, during the Surf Winter Lifetime Savings Event, you can lock in your low price for life. Visit surfinternet.com today. Restrictions apply. Not all speeds available in all areas.
Our guest is Tyson Mellon, a 1995 graduate of West Central High School, who just led the West Central Lady Trojans to their first sectional championship in 12 years. But let me ask you this, Tyson. Going back to your high school playing days, what did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you in life?
That's a good question. So, like I said, we spend a lot of time playing basketball, especially, workouts in the summer. Kids don't play today like we did back then, that's for sure. We'd have open gyms on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and it was like 6 to 9, and the ex-player, the college guys would come back, and there'd be older guys in the community come up, and winner stayed. So your goal is to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row, to stay on the court. And if you didn't, you had to sit out. And who knows when you get to play again. So just that constant work, and yet we didn't hang any numbers on any banners. We didn't win a section. We didn't win conference, but just knowing that you put in the work and the time and the effort, and that's a great story for life. You work hard and things don't always work out the way you want or expect, but it's the journey that you're on. It's the effort you put in. It's the memories you make. I remember our senior year, Pat Culp sprained his ankle, and pretty bad, pretty severe. And I remember helping carrying him off the field and taking him to the locker room. And we had a few words in the locker room and went out and we played our best. And, adversity strikes no matter where you're at, and that's a great life lesson. Things don't always go the way you want, but what matters is you keep fighting, you keep playing. So.
Finally, what advice do you have for young athletes? Let's say those middle schoolers down there. What advice are you giving them that can help them become the athletes they want to be?
We have a saying in our program, be light. So best effort and love your teammates. And that's my message to every, elementary kids on up. If you just give your best, if you play as hard as you can, if you don't, kids today, people don't like to practice. People don't like to do things that are hard, but I'm telling you, if you give your best in all that you do, good things will happen. My favorite verse in the Bible is Colossians 3:23. It says, whatever you do, do with all your heart as for the Lord rather than men. And, I try to preach that. I try to instill that in all the young kids that I come in contact with, through basketball or other sports or, whatever it may be at school. And the second part of that is love your teammates, and you can't go through life alone. So, you need each other. You need your teammates, and you want to be their biggest cheerleaders, just like you want them to be your biggest cheerleaders. And it takes a team to go through life. It takes a team to get through things done, especially on the basketball court. You can't play 1-on-5. It's got to be a collective team effort. The 5 on the court, and then everybody has a role. So you got your 6 through 9 or 10 player on the bench that need to come in when their number's called, and it's about being together. In our exit interviews, at the end of the season, we meet with each player and individually, and they say what they like about the season. And every girl this year said it was our team bond. It was the closest team that they've been a part of, which means a lot, and it shows on the court. When you're successful and players get along the way they do, it makes for a great season.
Well, Tyson, thanks so much for taking time to visit with us and reminisce about some pretty exciting days when you were playing, and even more exciting days now that you're coaching. So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Well, thanks for all you do for our area schools, and hopefully we'll talk again sometime.
Our guest on Where Are They Now has been Tyson Mellon, a 1995 graduate of West Central High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winamac High School who died as a result of an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winamac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Tearson Wolford, a member of the wrestling team at Winamac Community High School. Tearson had an amazing semi-state appearance at the East Chicago meet. He did well enough to get to the state finals, so he is our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Tearson will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a T-shirt commemorating his achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. He will be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac. I'll make sure to get with Mr. Wolford this week. As that wraps up another Saturday Sports Line down and in the books. This coming Tuesday, we will be at Knox High School to see the Redskins host the West Central Trojans. Myself, along with Chris McGowen, will be there for you. So don't miss our final boys basketball regular season broadcast of the year. Until then, keep up to date on the sports checks. Follow us on all of our social media sites, on Instagram at WKVI Sports, on X at KVB Sports, and on Facebook at Sports to the Max for all Kankakee Valley Broadcasting sports content. I'm Mitch Columbi. The tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.